Welcome to the channel of the Female Entrepreneurship Lab of the Faculty of Economics and Business Administration at Sofia University. In this episode, we'll dive deeper into the entrepreneurial environment by focusing on specific but very important aspects of it, such as innovation, resilience, and what it takes to establish a lasting success in a challenging industry like energy. All of the insights that you'll hear are driven by the extensive professional background of our special speaker and her dedication into contributing to both regulated and deregulated energy markets. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you Jessica Gregory, founder and CEO of Oak Consulting. Jessica, thank you very much for joining us today. We're really excited to learn more about your journey and the lessons that you have learned along the way. So could you please start by sharing more about yourself and what motivated you to transfer from working within existing structures into developing your own company?
So thank you so much, Lyubimka, for inviting me here today. Absolutely delighted to be here. My name is Jessica Gregory, and I set up my company, Oak Consulting, in 2016. And we specialize in the energy sector, energy expertise, and gas and electricity across Ireland, helping clients deliver their goals and achieve the outcomes that they want to through bringing together knowledge around the energy industries and directing it to what they need. The moment that I set my company up wasn't one that I decided overnight, I'm going to be a business owner and set up my business today. It came from a place of many years of working across the energy industry, building of knowledge, building of my technical knowledge, my energy domain knowledge, my expertise, working with different sectors, different areas. And I suppose the opportunity I realized was piecing all the disparate pieces of information together so that I was able to provide a service or solution to people in the energy space where there wasn't one. It was my career started working in South Africa in energy, finished university, went into Accenture where I started as a business analyst and then into consulting and management. And I grew my skills as a SAP ISU consultant. So a real focus on technology and how technology could be used to optimize energy business models. I then moved to Ireland, where the markets were deregulating, and I was right at the center of the restructuring of a previously very monopolistic energy structure, a very regulated energy structure, to one which was liberalized, offering huge opportunity and innovation. And my role, both from a technical point of view, but also from a market knowledge point of view and a design point of view, was right at the center of how that new market would operate. And I think it was bringing all those skills that I'd gained together and seeing the opportunity, which is what helped me be able to make that move. I think there was also a lot of personal objectives and motivations, a better work-life balance, I thought, more autonomy rather than working in the large corporate, which for me wasn't as appealing as being autonomous and driving innovation and creativity. Part of those things also drove a lot of my motivation to move and become an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurship always comes with a lot of challenges. What were the key challenges that you faced at the very beginning of starting your company? Were those challenges related to the fact that you're a woman in a man-dominated industry? And how did you manage to overcome these challenges?
Very good question. And I suppose challenges for me weren't just in the energy sector, were not just when I started my business. I did experience challenges throughout my career in energy. Some of them, gender bias was definitely a feature at points in my career. Qualification bias was another challenge that I experienced in my career in energy. As an entrepreneur, I had different experiences. I haven't experienced gender bias for me personally since I've actually started my business, but I definitely did prior to that. For me, it was demonstrated very much in identifying that I was being paid significantly less than a male colleague who was on a lower grade than me. And I felt that I wasn't going to accept it, addressed it, and I was told that I just needed to accept it. It was the way the organization operated. It was built into a culture decades long, and I was told that I wasn't going to have any ability to change that, and effectively just to do my time. And I didn't accept that. I felt that it wasn't the ethos and the type of organization I wanted to be involved in. It wasn't the culture that I identified with or wanted to be involved in. My skills, I didn't feel were being fully valued in that stage, which was all part and parcel of my move to the private, to setting up myself in a private capacity. As an entrepreneur, some of the challenges that I've experienced would be related to time and time management. So often when you're starting out, especially when it's just yourself, you're learning about how to run a business, learning when to send your VAT returns in, learning what expenses you can claim, learning about how to actually run a business in the first place. Plus, you're selling work, you're selling contracts to new clients, you're establishing your brand. You're having to then actually continue to build your knowledge and make sure that you're retaining the insights that you're passing on to new clients and packaging into products. So you've got all of these competing priorities wanting your time. And I think that was, for me, the most challenging point in the beginning, was knowing how to prioritize and know where to spend my time most effectively, and focus on the right things. I also found, and maybe talking about women and prior to my starting my business and after, is knowing your value, making sure that you value the skills that you have and know what they're worth, and ask for them. Make sure that you're not afraid to ask and demand what you're worth. So I would find, as an entrepreneur, that when I started out, especially, actually pricing work and negotiating contracts, and making sure that I'd negotiated the value that they deserved, I found quite challenging. And even looking at literature recently, I saw something that said that women tend to charge for doing exactly the same services as an entrepreneur up to 28% less than men do for exactly the same service offering. So we could look at the psychology behind that, but I think the key thing is making sure that you value what you do and ask for what you feel you deserve. So those would be some of the challenges I've had, and perhaps some of the gender related challenges specifically that I've experienced.
You have already mentioned about how to manage your time efficiently. Mm-hmm. So how do you maintain this work-life balance? Do you have any practical tips that you'd like to share with the rest of us?
So work-life balance, the great enigma. I suppose one of the key things I would say is having your own business is hard work. But it's hard work that you enjoy doing. And I think that's the challenge. You're doing it for yourself. And so definitely that motivates me more, or has motivated me more, in terms of the work-life balance. What I would say is breaking out time, trying to compartmentalize, making sure that you build boundaries around work and your private life, and don't let work and the creation of the business take up everything. Because what I have found at times in my business startup, especially in the beginning, I was so passionate about it, enjoying it, wanting to set it up, wanting to make it a success, but it can become all consuming. And it's very important to balance that with the rest of your life. I'm a mother of a 17-year-old and a daughter and a 14-year-old son. So trying to make a balance and making sure that you still have time for your family is often a challenge. Women often have huge guilt around wanting to be successful and spend time achieving and being a good parent and a good mother. And I'd say it's really important to build a strong relationship with your support network, for if your partner, if you're married, co-parenting, making sure that that is managed well so that you can develop your business in a way that you need to, but still value and spend time with your family. What I would say from my experience is the flip side of perhaps spending that time away or developing yourself, and that you may feel the guilt for at times as a mother, is countered with the inspiration that I feel is so valuable, both for my daughter and my son. And I've even had their friends who've come and worked with me before. And it's hugely valuable for both of them to see that women can succeed in a sector, especially that is typically dominated by men entrepreneurs and men. So I do think the inspiration on that is outweighs any work-life balance concerns that you may have as a woman in that space. I think also understanding when you feel like you need to ask for help, building your supports, building people that you can trust, that you can relate to, that you can lean on when you need to. People that understand your industry, absolutely key to be able to do that. It can be a very lonely place when you're leading an initiative on your own. So building those supports, having a coach, for example, I would have a coach who helps me step aside and make sure that I'm able to work on the strategy of my business rather than just the delivery. So those are just some of the things I think that have helped me with the work-life balance. But make sure as well you enjoy your life and enjoy the successes, and spend time with your sausage dogs if you have them, and your children.
You have worked on both regulated and deregulated energy markets, and you have an extensive observations on how innovation have evolved in the both environment. Could you share with us, would you like to share with us an example of how to, what kind of innovative solutions or business models you have introduced or catch upon while working in the OCO consultancy?
Yeah, it's a very, very pertinent question around the regulated and deregulated environments and the opportunities for innovation. From my view, I believe that deregulation offers an opportunity for enhanced innovation. I believe that through breaking down the traditional, fully vertically integrated organization that manages everything, you're opening up an industry for new opportunity, for new drivers to come in and to stimulate the industry. So from my experience, deregulation in Ireland, for example, but in other European countries, has meant that competition becomes a key driving force behind the development of new technologies, the new services, new requirements that customers are pushing for. So for me, at the very heart of innovation, opportunity, and new business models, to me, the regulated environment versus the deregulated environment is a cornerstone of that. I would say a deregulated environment is far more conducive to developing innovation. It allows also for different skill sets to be showcased and to be utilized. For example, in my experience, the liberalized market allowed for technology skills to come to the fore, the use of large data to be used for developing insights and driving new product offerings. One of the key areas of innovation that we're working with in Ireland over the last number of years is smart metering. So to me, smart metering is around granular data. It's about making sure that we can measure our data on the ground outside in the individual properties of consumers, and then take that data in and use it to develop insights on how to better manage that consumption and behavior. So through providing information, from analyzing that data, so we can actually alter behaviors, consumption patterns of consumers. So smart metering at its heart for me is an innovation. Other innovative models that I've been involved is the development of community models. Community energy models would be very unique in their challenges, and working with the structures that require a community model to operate would have their own unique challenges. So actually building models, for example, solar as a service in communities, would be something I've been involved in. Looking at microgeneration and how to actually build microgeneration solutions that are effective for consumers. That's also been facilitated through policy changes that have come through from the EU into Ireland and been actually delivered through the requirement for everyone to be allowed to sell their energy to the grid. That has meant that there's new opportunities to invest in those technologies, to manage those technologies in such a way that is different from the past. Other areas of innovation for me would be very much in transformation programs. So I would be heavily involved now in helping organizations transform their core technology so that they can respond to all the requirements that the energy market needs. So quick turnaround in tariffs, quick turnaround in new product offerings, joining together the generation or the energy services that can be offered to consumers. As we all start electrifying more and using energy and electricity particularly more to do everything in our lives, so energy supply no longer is just supply. It's about so much more. It's about your electric vehicle that's plugged in and your solar panels on your roof, and how that connects into a tariff that's been designed to actually cater for your needs. So I would be involved in a lot of innovation in those spaces as well.
You have already touched upon technological advancements and digital transformation and how they are reflecting different industries, and I believe that energy is not an exclusion of this. But how all of these are affecting the development of female-led ventures into the energy industry?
I believe, again, if we just leverage off the liberalization of the market, giving rise to opportunities for new companies to set up. Mine, for example, was looking for services that were needed in the market as a result of a new structure that was in place. Technology being at the heart of that, knowing how to integrate with the technology. But there's also additional services such as trading companies, for example, energy trading companies. Our market now is aligned with European trading energy markets and trying to facilitate the skills around trading energy to bring liquidity to the markets. That has developed hugely, but it's all underpinned by technology. There would be a number of women entrepreneurs in Ireland who have focused on the trading element of the market as well. So slightly different skill sets to perhaps working in the asset development on the generation side. My particular area, as I mentioned earlier, that I've really got heavily involved in is in digital transformation. So where organizations need to develop new products, their fundamental platforms for doing business have to change if they want to meet their overall strategic objectives of growth and development. And what I would bring to these, apart from project management and the right people to the table to be able to deliver those initiatives, is tying together the technology, the market design, and all the different components so that a solution can be built specifically for the organization.
We are all talking about technology and digital transformation, but what about energy transition? This is essential for achieving a net zero economy, especially as a target for the European countries. How do you see what is the role of the female leaders into this transition? Are they important into these efforts, and why?
Yeah, I suppose the answer is yes, they're absolutely essential. I suppose, as you rightly said, the energy transition is part of our biggest challenge as planet. It's being cited as one of the key areas that can actually affect or impact on the climate change agenda. So I think women in energy have the opportunity to show how they can make a difference. I think where energy was 25 years ago and where it is now are two very different places. And I feel that because energy is at the center of this development, because energy is going to be, and new models and evolution in the energy space is so fundamental for the future of the planet, that women have to be involved. I also think it's very important that, I mean, half our population is female, so therefore they do definitely deserve a place at one of the most important tables. That said, I do feel as well it's important for women to be involved in leadership roles now, who are setting the agendas, who are making sure that there's representation very much from a role model perspective as well, to encourage people, other women, to actually join and follow those journeys as well from a career point of view. 25 years ago, I don't remember any women leading in that space. There weren't enough role models there. There weren't enough pathways necessarily suggesting that that was a good career opportunity where you could add value and you could develop. So I think having women leading in these areas is absolutely key for the next generation of women coming through to contribute to this sector and to the change.
Okay, and as a final note, bringing you back to your professional career, and based on it, would you like to share an advice for a future entrepreneur? What is one lesson that is very important for them that you have learned through your experience?
There's a few, but I would say my most important one is to be brave and to believe in yourself that you can do it. It is a difficult decision to make, and I would definitely suffer from, and have suffered at the time of making that entrepreneurial leap, of self-doubt. But I definitely think the opportunity once you've made that leap is so huge that believe in yourself to be able to do it. I think as well, remember why you're doing it. So redefine your what you define as success and your purpose at the start may not always stay that way. It evolves. So stay connected with why you're doing what you're doing and make sure that you reconnect with that continuously. But I suppose overall, I would say be brave and do it. Don't be driven by the what ifs and the fears. Think about where you are right now and what you've achieved to date, and realize that trajectory can keep going and success can only come. So I would say the key thing is to be brave and to just do it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jessica, for all the insights and experience and all that you have shared today with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Really pleased to have been able to do so. Thank you.